open discussion
Let's
for
get
the
it.
rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to these
Hey, y'all,
rules.
we live. We
For the
watching
record,
this. This is
I've
Beyond
assigned the
Borders.
topics and the
Tonight
questions
is
in each
one of the greatest
topic.
nights
I
in
can assure you,
2020.
none of the questions
We're
has
listening
been
to this
shared with the
debate,
commission
and the
or the
debate is
two
going to be
candidates.
fire.
I really don't know why he's so excited.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about
Because this is
yourself?
going to be awesome.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'm
It's
good.
the
I'm
first
good.
debate. Why is
And
This
C-SPAN slow?
motherfucker. Wait, this motherfucker's
today.
still talking. I put
The
on.
audience here in the hall have promised to remain silent. No cheers,
I don't know.
boos, or other interruptions.
Why
so
is it
we,
still
and more
talking?
importantly,
Let's
you
let it ride.
can focus on what the
That's
candidates
funny
have to
because
say.
I saw how Joe Biden
No
was so
noise
happy
except
to see
right
Trump.
now,
That was
as we
funny.
welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the
I think, you
Democratic
know what? I think mine might be because I had paused it by mistake. I think it. You know what?
Fast forward.
Let me just
Refresh
refresh.
your
Oh
page.
shit! Yo, somebody need to comb Trump hair. God dog. Wait a minute, we gotta refresh it. Somebody gotta comb Trump hair. I don't like his hair, son. He did stuff for black people. He should have had his cornrows. All right, we should be good now. Come on. There you go, baby. There you go, baby. Oh shit! I gotta flip. Go.
President Trump, you nominated
this-
Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late
They're
Ruth
already
Bader
talking.
Ginsburg on the court. You say the
Well, you
Constitution
just
is
started.
clear about your obligation and the Senate's to
Trump is
consider
talking right now,
a
but
nominee to the court.
I will stop
Vice
looking
President
at my
Biden, you
TV
say
and
that this is
kind
an
of
effort
follow
by
with
the
you here.
president and Republicans to jam Trump in this first segment. You go first, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic, good in every way, In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time.
Sound like my
Even
man
if
got
we
some
did it after
sleep.
the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding. She's going to be as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel that. We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly would say otherwise. And by the way, the Democrats, they wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they'd try and do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election. So they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen in reverse. So we won the election.
Why
and we have
Biden's
the
smirking
right to do
already?
it, Chris.
Because whatever Trump is
President
saying is
Trump,
funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, just-
Same question.
First of all, thank you for doing this and looking forward to this, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Joe.
Oh, it's cordial now.
American people. have
Oh,
the
he
right
said
to
hello.
say
Even when
that
Trump came
say
on the
occurs
stage, he
when they
waved
vote
at him.
for
Trump
the
didn't
United
do
States
nothing. He
senators
just walked
and when they
to the
vote
stage.
for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should
Correct.
happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is, because that's the only way the American people get to express their
But
view.
When
is
it
by
not,
who they
but
elect
at
as
that point, it
president,
wouldn't
who they
matter
elect as
anyway, right?
vice
Because even if Trump
Now,
loses, they still have the
what's at
Senate,
stake here is the
right?
president's made it clear.
Or do I have
he
that
wants
wrong?
to get
They
rid
can
of the
flip. They
Affordable
can
Care
flip
Act.
it.
He's been
It could
running on
change.
that. He ran on that.
They can still put
and
him
he's
in.
been governing on that.
The Senate
He's
is
in the
flip
Supreme
might
Court
be
right now
flipping.
trying to
There's
get rid of
enough Republican
the
senator
Affordable
running
Care
for
Act,
re-election
which
this year
will flip
for the
20 million
Democrat to have a chance to flip the
from
Senate.
having
Wait, when is the
insurance,
cycle up?
health insurance
In
now,
November?
if it goes into court.
Election,
And-
Or is it
on
next
election
year?
night
the justice,
this year.
I have nothing.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
not
right.
opposed to
Oh,
the
yeah.
justice.
There's
I
enough
forgot about that.
Republican
Which is
senator
written
running.
before she went in the bench, which is her right. But she
for
thinks
them
that
for
Affordable
Democrat
Care Act is not
to flip. And I think one
The other
thing
thing
that
that's on the court,
Republican
and
are
to
using right
shut
now to
down, what
rally their
happens?
base is to
Women's
they're
rights are
telling their
fundamentally
base.
changed.
I received some emails. I
Again,
don't
a
remember
woman
signing
could
from
be held
some of these
more money
conservative
because she has a
websites, but I
pre-existing
received
condition of
some
pregnancy.
emails saying
We're able to,
the White
they were able to
the
charge
Supreme
women more
Court
for exact
is
procedure and
worth
mandate.
more
Get.
than the White House and the Senate.
In
So there's
fact,
enough
passed the Affordable
senator to
Care
flip
Act.
that.
And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away
All
as
right.
well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies
Yeah,
will
it's
love
it's
this. And so it's
it's
just not appropriate to do this
it's not
before
appropriate.
this
I will
election.
have to go with
If he
Joe on
wins
that.
the election and this,
Then go ahead and nominate her. I agree with that. But we literally less than
With
50 days
pre-existing
away from their
conditions.
election,
As far
and
as
you
the Senate
pushing
is
the Supreme
concerned,
Court
Wait, wait, wait.
nominating
Just
for
say
40s.
okay.
Yo, he's
Very
starting
powerful,
already
very
with the
strongly. At
bullshit.
some point, 10 years ago
Skip.
or
I didn't
so,
hear what it
she
said.
said a president and the Senate is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a
he's
president.
elected to the next
During
election.
that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years.
The
And the
election's
100
already
million
started.
people, Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care. That they're very
That's
happy
simply
He's
with.
not
starting
true.
already.
Well,
You
you said
said
you're going to
Trump,
socialist. You're
son.
going to socialist.
Trump is starting
now into,
already.
Gentlemen, we're now into open
But
discussion.
but the funny
Discussion,
thing is,
discussion.
what
Yes,
he's
I agree.
saying when Mitch McConnell refused to bring Merle Garland voting on there, the reason he uses that
expand-
Obama was not the president.
And
It was
we increase it.
200 and
Not
some
white-
days
and
away
one
from
of
the
big
election.
debates we had with
More than
20
200 days.
my colleagues trying to win the nomination were
Yeah.
saying that Biden wanted to allow
And the funny
people
thing is, even within the court, they really didn't have no beef with the guy. It was politics, and they were unfortunate. Because even during Kavanaugh confirmation, he had to say it's unfortunate that he didn't get on the court. He's a co-lead. He didn't do anything wrong. He just got caught up in politics, and they're not even supposed to do politics.
Wait.
They're not.
Wait. Biden yelling at him. Hold on. I
They're
want to hear
going back
Biden
and
yelling.
Now here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing conditions. And by the way,
How did y'all go from the Senate to the health care?
200 million, the 200
Trump brought it up.
Wow.
You know, brought it up. You know, brought it up.
I know, but I don't
But-
understand why he brought this up. He should have
Well,
just
there's
let the
7 million
question
people that
ride.
contracted COVID.
Let me
What does it mean for them
backtrack.
going forward if you strike down?
Actually,
the Affordable
Biden
Care
brought
Act
up
and-
Joe, you've
the
had
ACA
308,000
being,
military people dying because
on the
you couldn't
Supreme
provide them
Court
proper health
docket
care in the
2
military.
weeks
So
after the
don't tell me
election,
I'm
which
happy
is
to
the
talk
truth.
about- And if you were
It's the
here,
truth.
it would be
That's when
200,
Trump
it would be
just went
2 million
off.
people because
Wait a
you
minute.
were very late on the draw. You
Late
didn't
on
want
the
me to
draw.
ban
Oh
China,
Lord, why are you
which was
talking on top
How
of
he
each other like
went on the COVID, son? This is gonna be the greatest debate
which
ever.
was heavily
Mr. President,
you would have
Mr.
been much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr. President.
Where the moderator at? He need to do his
Yo.
job. He's not stepping.
Yo, he already. Hold on, Chris Wallace already lost control. He's already lost control.
Let
I
me
love it.
Finish. The point is that
You
the
can't
president
control these
also
two. I'm
is
sorry.
opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court.
What the
in
hell is
court.
wrong?
And so that's
Yeah,
all
he
big
just
thing
telling
right
them
now.
how much
And
What
so the
happened?
election
They
is
have
all
big-
I know it's on the
begun.
ballot.
I-
people. If you guys listening to us,
because
they do
it's
have
on the
big
ballot.
cases coming
It's
up
the
on the
ballot in the
Supreme
I don't
Court
think so.
docket
in the court.
within a
There's
month.
nothing happened.
Hold on. Say that again.
They do have big cases coming up on the Supreme Court docket within a month after the election. Big
Did you
cases.
just say the Supreme Cock?
Court. I see you smiling. Y'all see his
I
face?
thought you
His
said
evil-
cock. I was like, yo, what the
His
hell?
little evil smile. The Supreme
Y'all see my
Court
face? I
docket.
thought she said cock. I swear to God, I'm like, what wrong
And
with?
what is that? What exactly? You better ask me what in the world is that?
Well, his America First deal. Shout out to white people.
Let's jump on it.
He just announced it last week.
Wait, why did you cut off the sound? I want to hear what Trump is saying right now. Put better volume.
Yo, Chris Wallace would have run for president. Chris Wallace would have run for president.
I can't hear anything, kid. You took the volume all the way down.
Oh,
in the
shit,
course of
sorry.
these 4 years have never come up
So
with a
when I muted,
comprehensive
you didn't
plan
hear it, right?
to replace
Yeah, I was not hearing it.
Obamacare. And
All right, I'm back
just
now.
Okay.
Thursday,
All right. So I just want to make sure because
you
I pushed it,
signed
but I
a
can still
large
hear it. So,
symbolic executive
all
order
right. When it
to
plays
protect
back,
people
then
with
we should be good.
pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care
All
plan?
right. Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him. So I'm not surprised.
Oh, I
Man,
heard it.
I love
I heard
this man.
it.
Go ahead.
There's nothing
You were
symbolic.
laughing.
I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored
Go ahead.
nations, which no president has the
Hang on.
courage to do because you're going against big pharma.
Wait.
Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90. Could have done it
That's
during
what
your
you
40
promised 4 years ago. They have not.
Nobody's done it.
Oh
So
shit.
we're cutting healthcare.
What about
all of the
pre-existing
things that
conditions?
Oh,
we've
shit.
done.
Has not cut
Insulin. I give
healthcare.
you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people because I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like
Where the hell are you
water,
getting it
wanna
that's
know
so
the truth.
cheap?
So cheap.
I
We get
don't
it
think
from
it went
China?
down like
Drugs
that
that-
because I
what we're
checked
doing,
those
prescription
numbers
drug
and I can
prices,
actually
we're
go
gonna
back
allow
while
our
we
government
doing this.
now to
Let
go
me
to
fact
other
check.
countries to buy
And
drugs.
maybe
Insulin.
maybe his
Just
new
in
deal,
time
he's
to
probably
try
getting
to
it
say this
cheaper.
is
But
all
I know
discussion. Nobody
insulin's
has
not
to
cheap.
wait. This
You'll
is
be
It
happy
hasn't
to
gone
know
down. I
that
was
the
looking at it
company
earlier.
one of your points to ask the vice president, which is he points out
Well, is that the
you would
old
like to
deal?
add a public
Or is that his
option
deal?
to Obamacare, and
Yes.
the
He
argument
said
that
the
he
same
makes
thing
and other
4 years ago.
Republicans make
Remember,
is that that is going to end
he said the
private
same
insurance.
thing.
It
I will
is
make
well.
it dirt cheap. You will walk in and get it
That's
for
the
free.
question. It will
what your
end.
party says about
You
it.
can't get no
it will
insulin
end
for free.
private
Ain't no
insurance and
ain't no
create
way in the
a
world the
government
insurance
takeover of
company's
It
gonna get
does
off
not.
on
It's
that.
only
You
for those
crazy.
people who are so poor
By
they
the
qualify
way you
for
talk, that's some
Medicaid.
type of way.
They can
Like
get
that's
that
some
free.
type of word that
Most
he would say.
states,
You would
except
get it for
governors who want to
free.
deny
I'm
people
like, you don't get nothing
Medicaid.
for free,
Anyone
Trump.
Yeah.
It's
be
mute.
enrolled
Put me
in
back
the
on.
public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agreed
two.
with Bernie
Number-
Sanders,
I-
who's
I
far
did-
left, on the manifesto,
when
we
you-
call it.
with
And that gives
manifest-
you socialized medicine.
Look, hey,
you
I'm
saying
not
you
going to
didn't
listen
agree?
to him. The fact of the matter
Said,
is, I
Trump,
do
wake
think
up.
he's
What are you wrong?
I'm not doing the whole hell of a lot. I'm here.
Don't listen to him. Here we go.
Would have left
Uh,
to
Trump
that
don't know
area.
how
You know
to
what this is
stop.
like?
All he knows how to do is hurt.
You know what this is like? This is
Here's the
like
deal.
this
I
is
got
like the
very lucky to be
parents,
very
like the
lucky to be married
fathers
as
of
well.
of like
And
a
for
couple
many
that want to
of
get
them,
married and they just don't like each
here's the
other.
deal.
Trump,
Here's the
stop
deal.
talking.
Fact
God,
is
no,
that
you
everything
had
he's
your.
saying so far
Wow,
is
this
simply
is
a lie.
funny.
I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar. I just
Ooh.
want to
Yo, everybody knows he's a liar, my nigga.
Yo, I did not
Just
expect
call him a
this.
racist.
President, can you let
Call
him
him a
finish?
racist.
he doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be
you know,
surprised.
you pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy,
Go,
the
go,
wrong
Joe,
night at
go.
the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed
What?
with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders to the
The
manifesto.
whole idea.
Let him.
Yo,
There
why is
is
Chris
no
Wallace here?
manifesto.
Said he
Nobody
can't
speak.
control his
Number two.
room.
You just lost the left.
Number two.
It's not his
Oh
fault.
shit! You just said you lost the left.
You agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
Wait, why did Bernie got?
Do you have any idea?
Wait,
No, he brought up Bernie because remember Biden took Bernie's
He is
platform,
not for
and he knows the Bernie Bros are gonna
health
force
for
Biden to
people needing
go
healthcare.
radical.
Because he in fact already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two, there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it away.
No, I want to give them
Number
better
three.
health care at a much lower price
But,
because
and by the way,
Obamacare
he doesn't
is
know
no
how.
good.
He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed
How
it.
do you do
Never
that, though,
opened
Trump?
a
Yeah, 4
He
years
has
ago.
never done
Huh?
a
Well, not
single
talk
thing.
you out though. And I told him, how did he do that? Nothing wrong about it. Mama took some
So you gotta
time,
look
but
up. You gotta look up his America First
Obamacare
plan.
is no good. We made it better, and I had a
Opened
choice
it.
to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guarantee pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual mandate.
What you mean not
Not
true?
true.
He announced
Yeah, it
it
is.
last week.
And
What do you
that
mean it's not
destroyed
true?
last
That they didn't even call it Obamacare.
Yeah,
It's
he
gonna
announced
happen.
the America
If
First
I
plan
let
last
people
week.
Run it really well.
you
Huh?
announced something.
If I
You
run it
announced
badly,
something
they'll
so
probably
close to
blame
an
me.
election.
More importantly, I want to
Why
help
does it?
people. Okay, I said you
What?
gotta run it so well.
Why
That's
would
right.
people
And I just had a
believe
meeting
that and
with
don't
them.
think that it's
The
just a
problem is, no matter how
move for you
well
to get
you
back
run
into office?
Obamacare, it's a
If you
disaster.
really believe this, you should have ran on it. If you I announce something
we do
2 weeks
I don't
out
know.
or a month out, it's too soon.
But I have to give you
It's just to sway some people
equal time.
to get me back in, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna do
He
that.
has no plan.
That's how I feel.
He sends-
Please.
he sends out wishful thinking. He has executive orders that have no power. He hasn't lowered drug
Haven't
costs to
done
anybody.
much.
He's been promising a healthcare plan since he got elected. He has none. Like almost everything else he talks about, he does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right.
He's
I have one final question for you,
Sure.
Mr. Vice President.
They're about to fight.
If Senate Republicans, we were talking originally about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact, it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in
I'm
the
saying-
Senate and Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how
Are you gonna
strongly
pack
you
the
feel.
court?
Vote now.
gonna pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in
But
fact,
that's- he's not-
let
he didn't
people
even answer the
know you're a
question.
senator. I'm not
You
gonna
don't
answer
have to.
Answer that
because the
You wanna
question
put a
is-
line-
He asked,
The
wait a
question
minute, he
is-
asked him a direct
Don't answer
question.
the question now.
You should
Don't
not.
get me started.
On your list,
Wait a minute, he
Joe.
asked him a
This is
direct
a
question.
Gentlemen,
You don't have to answer the question though. You're not debating with Chris Wallace. You're debating with Trump.
No, but he asked him, are you going to end the
That
filibuster?
was really
Or are you going to pack the court? That's a direct,
yeah.
People
that's a direct
understand, Joe.
question.
They sure did.
47 years you've done nothing.
all right. The second subject is COVID-19.
Oh,
It's
here
an
we
awfully
go. Oh,
serious
this is
subject,
good.
So
This is going to be good.
let's try to be serious about it. We have had more than 7 million cases of coronavirus in the United States, and more than 200,000 people have died. Even
What?
after we produce a vaccine,
Wait a
experts
minute.
say that it could be months
Oh,
or
right. He
even
said 7 million
years
cases. Okay.
before we come back to anything approaching normal. My question for both of you is, based on what you have said and done so far, and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Don't say nothing, Trump.
Look, 200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States.
But y'all were the
We,
same
in
ones that said it was
fact,
going to be 2
have-
million.
5%, 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked. In addition to that, what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China,
He
should
said
be able to
Chinese.
go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi
Yo,
to do that.
they-
He told us what a great job Xi
it's been like
was
15
doing.
minutes,
He
and
said
they were
we owe
yelling
him
at
a
each
debt
other. It's
of
hilarious.
gratitude for being so transparent with us.
Mhm.
And what did he do then?
Yeah, Rose
He
and I are
then
doing a
did
live
nothing.
coverage of it.
He waited
It's
and
hilarious.
waited
The first
and waited.
15
He still
minutes
doesn't
were
have a
hilarious.
plan.
Then we
I
yelled
laid
at
out
each
back
other. It
in
was good.
March exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July
I'm back.
what we should be doing. We should be providing all
Yeah,
the
he ain't fall
protective
asleep
gear
yet.
plus we should be providing the money the House has passed in order to be able to
Now they
go
talk-
out
they talking about
and get
COVID.
people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money.
Y'all are the
You
ones
should
that
get out
shut
of your
down for like
bunker
how
and get out of
long?
the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office
Trump
and
is
bring
the one that didn't do nothing.
and fund what
Right,
needs
but
to
y'all
be done
remember
now
I
to
said
save
on the show
lives.
you should lock down for
If we
2
would have
months.
listened
Wait,
to
wait,
you,
you have 2 minutes, sir.
if we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000. And one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand.
Just here in the state too, those numbers have to be revised,
Right.
because they had people who passed away before they were even diagnosed with it.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said, President
Oh,
Trump,
leave Dr. Fauci out of this
President
thing.
Many of you Democrat governors said President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look.
Why is Trump doing this, man? Why are you doing this?
No, but you know what? I see what he's doing.
Why
He's
he
trying to-
laughing though?
No, you know
Trump
what he's
did a
trying to
phenomenal
because
job.
Biden is
We
trying
did.
to act
We got
like
the
he
gowns, we
never
got the
said they never
masks, we
said
made
this,
the ventilators.
even though
You
they're
wouldn't
on
have made
film saying
ventilators.
it.
And now we're
So he's
weeks
actually
away from
so
a
Trump's
vaccine.
actually calling out the news.
Don't get me wrong. His initial response was wrong. It was delayed. It was.
The only
Yeah,
thing
it was
I
delayed.
I don't want to
I
cut from
admit
this
that. He
show,
should
but
have
it was
did. He
effed
should have
up.
did it when he
What
first
you say
heard
to him,
about
they
it.
give you
But
bad
December.
but when he actually started
press.
unleashing
Bad
certain
press.
of
That's
the
the way
powers of the states or help and things like that, things got better. So
Right.
that end,
We did. You
you
don't
know,
have
we're
it
not
in your-
saying that he flat out, he flat out missed that one, but
No,
he had a
that's
he
what I said.
recovered.
Everybody said he could have did better.
Swine flu.
I would have did it January
H1N1.
1st and locked
You
it down
were
for
a
2
disaster.
months,
Your own
and then
chief
said,
said,
okay,
disaster.
we do soft openings around the around the country and try to get the major cities up and running first, and then we get the smaller cities into it.
And there was no one.
That's why I said even in New York they should have followed Atlanta's model and just revised it, but they didn't do
The
that.
reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many of you?
Dude,
were in a
everybody
situation
die every
where you
day,
lost
B.
your
Come on, don't
mom
do
or
that.
dad and you couldn't even speak to them? You had a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye.
You would have lost far
How
more
many
people.
people?
Far
That is-
more people.
Well, let him talk, damn it. Damn, what?
No, everybody had 2 minutes, so you could just rebut it
As many
now.
as another 200,000 people between
Biden
now
is
and
talking.
year.
That's
We
his
have
time.
this-
No, but what he's
If we
saying,
just
no,
wear a
but
mask,
he
we
lets
can save
both of them talk
half
for 2
those
minutes,
numbers.
and then you
Just
can
a
oppose
mask.
it.
And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, we're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
we
trust
Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
& Johnson,
See,
Pfizer.
see,
Okay.
that interruption, I don't like
Let me
that.
move on to
You can't interrupt
I
somebody.
mean, the most he could do, the
touched
most they
on
could
one
do
of the-
is shut their
two of the
mic off,
questions
but then
I'm
you know
gonna
there's
ask.
somebody gonna complain.
focusing on the
You
future.
can't
Does President
interrupt
Trump
me every 2
have
seconds.
repeatedly either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists? The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be
You brought the
summer
CDC in this crap.
before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those are your 2 words.
Yeah.
But Dr. Slaoui, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly
the
the
same.
same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make
See,
it
it's a
political.
very political thing. Stop playing with
No, you were
people's
right.
lives.
Spoken to-
Stop people with
But
people's
But wait,
health.
I said that too. I said this
Have to
was going to
speak
be
to. We have
labeled as a
great
political
Moderna,
move.
Johnson & Johnson, and others.
I told
They
you
can go
this,
faster than that.
and
by
you
a
got
lot.
mad at me because I said
Become
that.
very political because
You rather have vaccine that don't work or could even possibly do
But you know
more
that first
harm.
vaccine is not going to
I
work.
disagree with both of them.
You
And
know
he didn't
that.
say that. He said
Then
it
let's
could be
wait.
there.
That
We-
first vaccine is the
We sit
placebo.
down there and say it can be done a lot sooner. I'm good. I'll wait.
It's a possibility
I
that
don't
we'll
want
have
it.
The answer.
Yeah, for
before-
most people, just wait. I don't want to give you
But you
crap.
know they're not going to wait.
Well, we're
You
gonna
know,
deliver it right
you know
away.
it is
We have
Biden
Trump-
and the
Trump
Democrats.
is the one out there telling that it can be done a lot
We have our-
faster. He is the one saying that.
He said by
in
October.
a day.
They said the
They're
summer.
going to be
This is
delivering
the
the
same man.
It's
who
all
told
set
He
you
up.
said it could be done
Right.
a lot faster.
away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way,
Because
maybe
he
you
was
could
thinking of
inject
herd
bleach in your
immunity.
arm, and that would take care of it. This is the
That was
same man.
said sarcastically.
That was-
and you
Be
know that.
quiet, Tom. Please.
That's great.
Serious. Every
Listen, I'll
Man,
be a damn. I'm
Talking
telling
about
y'all.
maybe
Let me tell you something. I'm telling you, y'all gonna miss
done
this man
by the end
when
of the
he
year.
gets out of
We not.
office in 2024. Y'all gonna
Right.
miss this man. This
This
man is like Mike Tyson. He's a plethora. He's a plethora of quotes.
Pray God we
Man,
will.
no.
Pray God.
I want to pick up though.
You'll have
on
the
that.
vaccine
I
sooner
want to
than
pick
that.
up on this question though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more
Yes.
than the question you just asked him. You pointed out he puts pressure and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying
Everybody
you can't, or
knows.
Senator
And
Harris is saying you
no,
can't trust the
No,
scientists.
well, no. You can trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can't trust.
She said the public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled. Will be
Yo,
Well,
you see that?
that's what he's going to try to do. But there's millions of scientists, there's thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great hospital,
trying to start
that
fighting.
don't work for him. Their job doesn't depend on him. That's not. They're the people. And by
I
the way,
spoke to the
and Fauci,
scientists that are in charge.
by the way,
they will have
and
the vaccine very soon.
does-
Listen,
do
See,
you believe
Trump is the one who won the
I know,
vaccine.
yeah, he's doing a little too much.
in light of
Iterate.
all the lies
I don't
he's
want that
told you,
vaccine. I'm fine.
the whole
Mm-mm.
issue relating to COVID, he still
But
hasn't
I see,
even
but you see what they're
acknowledged
doing to, and
that
I
he
like it though. They're
knew this was
calling
happening,
them
knew how
out
dangerous
with the
it was gonna
news
be
because they're
back
gonna
in
act like
February,
they didn't
and
say
he
this stuff,
didn't
but they have
even
them on
tell you.
quotes.
He's on
You
record
got to.
as saying he
That's what's
panicked
gonna
or
hurt
he
him,
just looked at the
'cause
stock
y'all talk
market,
too
one of the
much.
two, because guess what? A lot of people
All of them
died.
talk.
A
You
lot
have to
are
be
gonna
on
die.
campaign. You have to hit the trail.
Lot
Now
is
everybody
probably-
got phone to take a picture,
Uh-oh,
record.
uh-oh, shh.
You said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college.
My
You went to
man.
Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Wow. Wow.
Guys, awesome.
Wow. Wow.
Let me just tell you something, Joe.
Wow.
Yo, this guy is the
No,
greatest.
This is not funny, kid.
God.
I'm
It was-
done laughing.
No,
Wow.
this is hilarious.
No, no, kid.
And by the way,
Other people look at it.
Don't
They
get
might
into
think,
Okay.
it's not funny. I ain't laughing this. I ain't
I gotta
laughing.
laugh.
No.
This-
Two of you have taken very different.
No, he
I'm
did not.
Cyrus is
This is
handling
the fun- this is the funniest thing I've
whichever of you
ever
ends up
heard.
becoming the next
He said,
president.
"Don't ever
Wow.
use the word
Quickly go
smart."
through
I'm
the-
shocked.
Be open. Vice President
I can't,
Biden, you have
man.
been much more than Trump about
Why he be
reopening
playing
the
like
economy.
you witness? I remember. Don't you ever say,
I am crying right.
What the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability
Oh no, he said
reopen
it.
with the
Don't use the
PPE
word
as well
smart
as with the
me.
sanitation they need. You have to
Mm-mm.
provide
That's
them
an
products.
Nancy
That-
Oh Jesus Christ! He took a shot at Nancy. Go ahead.
Nancy Pelosi.
why you doing this? This is not. This is not. This is not. This is
What
not
did I
being
tell you?
professional.
Hey, Rose,
This
wait a
not-
minute.
won't mean
Rose,
I don't
what did I
like
tell you? Didn't I tell you
He
he
sits
was,
in his
Biden was
golf
going to get
courses.
destroyed in the
I mean,
first?
literally,
In the
think
first, he
about
going to
it.
get destroyed. He ain't going to be able to talk.
That's not being destroyed. I mean, we
No, he's
talking
getting
about
destroyed
facts.
because he's not being able to
Down
talk.
this country.
Oh,
And
We
I
talking
wanna
about
keep it
facts. Why you interrupting, bringing Nancy, bringing left people, talk about my college and how I graduated last in the class,
one
and it's
second.
not even true.
You know what? I think he brought them up. I
just
think he
went
brought
through
them
it.
up to
We had
show that
'cause
he's
we didn't know
being
anything about the
controlled.
disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems
Right now,
are-
by himself. Did Biden cut him off?
young children aren't. Even younger people.
I'm just waiting for him to
aren't.
say,
We've
you know
learned
what,
a
you
lot.
sniff
But he
kids. I'm
wants to
just
shut it
waiting
down.
for that.
More people will be hurt by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at
And,
certain
and
states,
Joe Biden would be hurt if you let him talk. Jeez.
one of the reasons they shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election.
oh,
All right,
yeah.
I
November
want to
3rd,
move on to another
because
subject.
it's a
I want to move
political
on to
thing.
another
I gotta
subject.
respond.
But
wanna
those
move-
states,
gentlemen,
those
wanna move
states
on to
are
another
not
subject.
doing well that are shut down
Richard,
right
may
now.
I
That is
respond?
true.
Wants to
President
shut
Trump,
down the
you
whole
have
country.
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are
of
okay.
of
You have to
masks?
understand if
Don't
you
do
look
that, Trump. You said it.
He without a mask. Go
when I
ahead.
think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to. But I
Just
wear
like your
masks
rallies.
when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say
Vice President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's his choice.
Let's give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money. The
But
Congress.
I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks in social distance between now and January, we'd
It'll
probably
be better. It would be better. That's what Europe did. Now they're seeing cases rise up again, but then they have been open. People gathering. Just wear your mask.
Dr.
Yeah,
Fauci
but
said
see,
they
they
did
weren't
I
social
wanna ask you,
distancing.
we
That
got
was
a
the
very
problem
strong
too. I saw a
minute
picture of
left in
one,
the
and they were all
Masks are
bunched
not
up
good.
together.
Then he changed his mind. He said masks good.
I
I'm
wanna
okay
ask-
with masks.
But they started with the social distancing, and as summer wears off, remember, we were not in lockdown like Europe. We were not in lockdown like they did. They went full blown lockdown.
Yeah.
Outside,
No, I
yes, sir.
understand that.
Agreed. Vice President
But
Biden.
what I'm
Alright,
saying
gotta
is
go.
when they
Smaller,
did their openings,
events
you
with
saw
Nobody will show
people
up.
people
bunched
with-
up like nothing happened.
What's
Wait,
true?
Yeah,
Nobody-
gotta go. See ya. I'll be right back.
Why
Yeah.
you holding the big rallies? Why you not? You goes first, sir.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
But are you
I've
not
done a
worried
great
about a
job
spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you
for
not worried
hangars, and
about
we
the
have a
disease
lot of
issue,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay.
By the way, did you see
Yes, sir.
one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. Put on your mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I can't. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no
cheek
negative
to
effect.
jowl. No negative effect.
We've
Come
had
on.
no negative effect. And we've had 35, 40,000
All right, you
people
wanna-
at any of these rallies.
Just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encourage them not to.
All right.
He's a fool on it.
How
If
is
you
that on
could get
him?
the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen,
That's
can we
not-
move on to
6
the
feet is not on
gentlemen, Can we
him.
move on to the economy?
Yes.
The economy is, I think it's fair to say, recovering faster than expected from the shutdown
Much
This-
faster.
in the second quarter. The
Y'all should've shut
unemployment
down
rate
for
fell
60
to
days.
8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened is we closed it down and now we're reopening and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before.
I'm back.
And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people, drugs, alcohol,
Destroy this country, though, Trump.
down. You take a look at
We
what's
have 4
happening in
years of you, and we're still
Democrats.
alive. Come on
They
now.
have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election. They think they're hurting
See?
us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people.
You see?
People
What
know
did I
to
tell
do.
you?
They can social distance. they
November
can
4th,
wash
all
their
this
hands,
mask
they
and
can wear
social
masks.
distancing gonna
They
go
can do
away.
whatever they want, but they got to open these states up.
You
When
lying.
you look at
I don't
North
believe
Carolina,
that.
when you look at the
They
governors
said they
are
wanted to
under siege.
open up November
Pennsylvania,
9th.
Michigan, and a couple of others. You got to.
We can never take off the. We can never take the mask.
like being in prison. And you look at
No.
what's going on.
No, you know
with
what they're gonna
divorce.
do?
Look at what's
They're
going
gonna
on.
make-
with
they're
It's
gonna
very
leave it up to the
irresponsible to
business.
do so.
very, very
We're
sad
not.
thing.
We're
I
not
know,
gonna
but
make
they're
the
gonna
same
leave it up to the
mistake
business
twice.
to do it.
We'll close the whole country.
They're gonna leave it
and
up to the
destroy our
business.
country.
Watch.
Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting
Get
records.
Trump
as it
out of
does.
here.
We
He's
don't
the only
need
one who
to
knew
come in and
it back in
All right.
December of last year. We're not going to make the same
I'll move
mistake
to you.
twice.
As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well. Billionaires have made another $300 billion because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market. But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns and working class towns in America, how well are you doing? This guy paid a total of $750 in taxes.
Sir, wait, no. Sir, yeah, I understand. You've agreed to this, so please let him have it.
Get my time back.
Yo, Trump, you got wild. Trump, you got chill,
he
bro.
has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States
Mm-hmm.
to leave office,
Mm-hmm.
having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history. Secondly, the people who have lost their jobs are those people
That's
who
very
have
true.
been on the front line.
Because all of those numbered jobs that he so
People who are out
created
there
were jobs that he gained back.
putting themselves in a way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he?
Because
take
we
care
need
of
the money,
You
fool.
can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better.
This
for
ain't
you
Snoop
all.
Dogg
Money,
going off.
money
on
over
Trump.
people. I see that.
Mhm.
Why aren't schools
The money over
Yo,
people.
this ain't on. This ain't
You know,
Trump.
they were going to give, this administration was going to give the teachers and school students masks.
Oh,
and then they decided,
no.
America, y'all
we
need
do
to
that
look at
because
this
we're in
man
a
and
national emergency.
Trump and
Not a national
see
emergency.
this who you
They've
want to
done
vote
nothing
for.
with small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take
That's
care
true.
of the needs of the American people so we can
There's
open
some small
safely.
business that are closing that have been out here for years and years and years. They just can't do it no
made
more.
a statement. People want their schools. No, people want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. And I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places open. They want to get back to their lives.
People
They'll
want
be
to
careful.
safe.
but they want their
Safely,
schools
safely.
open.
It can't be a deadly virus out there, and I want to open. I want to return to work safely.
Very happy to do it. And
All right,
people of
let's-
I think
Ohio are very
thing will never
proud
be the
and
same, and I agree to that, and I'm fine with that. But I don't want to still disregard kind of. I don't want COVID to stop me from living, but at the same time, I'm not just going out there doing whatever the crap I want.
Your first year as president that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income taxes each of those 2 years?
He won't answer.
Millions of
Wait.
taxes, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers.
Show us your tax
I paid
returns.
$38 million 1 year.
Prove it.
I paid $27 million.
Show us your
1
tax
year.
returns.
I
Prove
went. You'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see
Soon,
it.
when?
If you want to do Board of Elections, there's a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under leveraged because the assets are extremely good. And I built
Sir,
a great
I'm asking you a
company.
specific question, which
But
is.
let me tell you.
I understand all of that.
Release your
I
tax
understand
return.
all of that.
But let me-
No, Mr.
Go
President,
ahead.
I'm asking you a question. Will you tell us how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750.
Millions of dollars. And you'll get to see it. And you'll get to
When?
see it. But let
When?
me just tell you.
You know what he should do it? He should do it election night after
It
he
was
wins.
the tax laws. I don't want to pay tax. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for
Now
depreciation
that is true.
and for tax credits. We build the building and we get tax credits like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a
Okay.
massive, which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now, the man got fired
no.
right after.
But the funny
that
thing
happened,
is, you
but-
want to take away everything Obama did, but that. How convenient. You want to take the ACA, you want to take everything else he did, but then you don't want to take that law only because it's to your advantage.
Because of
Greed.
him taking.
Well, why
he's
wouldn't you?
smart because he can take advantage of the tax code, and he does take advantage of the tax code. That's why.
But every
I'm gonna
millionaire
eliminate
takes
the Trump
advantage of the
tax
tax code.
and I'm going to eliminate those tax
Okay.
cuts and make sure that we
Ooh.
invest in the people who. in
Joe,
fact,
you better watch
need
what you're
the help.
saying, bruh.
People out there need help.
But why didn't you
Ask
do it
him-
over
Oh,
20,
no,
the
no,
last
no, wait,
25
no,
years?
Because
I
you
wanna-
weren't
why didn't you
president.
do it over
Because
the
you
last
weren't
25
president
years? No,
screwing
no,
things
no.
up.
Oh,
You were a
there it
senator.
is.
You're the
You
worst
were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing,
Okay,
including
gentlemen.
fixing the broken military that you gave me, including
let's-
taking care
We're
of your
talking,
vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask
That
you
is part of the
about your
economy,
plans
though.
going forward, because President.
But the
you're
broken
saying-
economy did not come from Obama administration.
No,
He
he's
didn't-
talking about the
You're
military.
focusing a lot on big
Yeah, the
government.
military was not broken by Obama. He didn't start the war.
You proposed more than $4
I don't know.
billion
Well, I'm not saying he
over
started it,
in
but he
taxes
depleted it.
on individuals.
He had to
making
do
more than
what he had to do. You took
and-
over in the middle of the war. What do? You just
says
leave
that
people there,
would
continue the war, or you actually find a way
is
to end
going
it?
to hurt the economy
Yeah, but
as it's
Bush,
just coming out of a
he didn't
recession.
find a way to
let's
end
take
it.
a look at what is the
He kept it
the
going.
analysis done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years. Number one, and number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about buying American. That we're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But
in
respectfully,
America.
sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
Well, by the way, I'm going to eliminate a significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500 who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of
Why
dollars.
didn't you do it
Billions
before
of
when
dollars.
you were vice president
Because
with Obama?
That is true.
because
Why didn't you
you
do
in
it
fact
then?
passed that. That was
That's right.
your
I got
tax
it-
proposal.
I got it done. And you know what
Yeah,
happened?
you got it done.
Our economy boomed
And,
like it's never
and
boomed.
the economy
Well,
is
Mr.
busted.
President,
Let me
wait, no,
finish.
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes for American people.
Let me.
Excuse me.
But in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming. It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president, more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest
the hell?
economic
What did he
recovery
just
since
say?
1929.
I
Let me
don't
tell you
know.
about the-
I heard
I don't know
the
what
same
the hell
thing.
he just said.
goes up. That
I heard
means,
the same thing.
I don't know what the hell he just said, y'all. Folks,
He
I
said he
don't know
took
what he
something
just
down
said.
here, but then you can turn on the light. I don't know what he's
I
talking
don't
about. I don't know.
Oh my God, he just
Tell you what,
malfunctioned.
you'll lose half of the companies.
Shut the
He
fuck
just
up.
malfunctioned.
Shut
I
up,
don't know what the
kid.
hell he's talking about.
Hardly
for other
any
places.
He said he
have-
took
they-
something down here, up there. I was lost.
which you've never seen.
Look,
Mr.
we
Vice President.
inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a
But
booming
you,
economy.
but see,
He
here's the thing.
blew
You
it.
said
It wasn't
18
even-
months and it took y'all 3 years.
It
blew it.
wasn't booming.
It
It was,
Well,
it
technically,
was
it
the
took you more than
weakest
3
recovery
years.
since
Wait. Is it fair to say he blew it when, in
When
fact, there was
COVID came in.
when there was low unemployment
Yeah.
before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he
Yep.
did, even before COVID,
Thank you,
manufacturing went in
Chris.
the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse
number
me,
one.
Chris. Wait,
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said
they-
it would
they-
take. No, you're number two.
No,
I hate when the
They said would
This
take
guy
a
is
miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing.
We
Part
did
of my
not bring it.
standard fare.
I'm the guy
He
that brought
totally
back the
gave up on
automobile
All
industry.
right, let him.
We brought back, I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the
Sure
state
did.
of Ohio and Michigan. Blew it.
Sure
They're
did.
gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That
It
is
ever
not
had
true.
no Trump. Why y'all was
John-
extreme?
Michigan
Why y'all
They're
was
not
so
having-
extreme?
I think he's probably
Vice
mad through the
President.
inflation
And
eyes.
so you take a look at what he's actually done.
Best year ever had though.
Trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch.
All
Down
right, gentlemen,
18%.
in-
China ate your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars, to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also,
Simply
while we're
not
at it,
true.
why is
not
it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What
Not
did he
true.
do to deserve it?
That
What
is
did he do with Burisma
none
to
of that.
deserve
Wait, wait,
true.
$183,000?
None
You've
of
asked
that
your
is
question,
true.
let him answer.
None of
none,
that is
none
true.
of that
Really? He didn't get
No,
$3.5
hey,
million?
Mr. President.
is
Oh,
true.
Lord.
President,
Trump, are you asking your own question or you let Chris Waller ask the question?
Wait, he didn't get $3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
He got
Mr.
$3.5 million.
President,
That is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr. President,
Mr.
it's an open discussion, please.
No,
It's a fact.
Well,
There's,
you
it
have
is not.
raised an issue. Let the
It's been
Vice
totally
President answer.
discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report
$183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr.
Look,
no
President,
My
job.
son
Dude,
did
let him
nothing
talk.
wrong at Burisma.
I think he
He
did.
not.
Mr. President,
He
let him
not.
answer.
You told me. You said Biden won't talk. There you go.
It's been thoroughly
By
discredited.
who?
And you
The media.
by everybody. Well, by the
By the
media,
media,
by our
because they refuse to
allies, by
talk
the
about it
World
because they're
Bank,
embarrassed.
by everyone has discredited. Matter of
Why
fact,
Trump like this? Why?
President, please
I don't like.
Uh-huh.
Oh, why he like this? Why?
Cool.
Mr. I'm
every-
listening to you.
People under,
Yeah, $3.5
When
million.
Joe Biden be like shut down,
under oath in his
He don't talk.
administration said, I did my job and I did it very well.
Oh,
I did
really?
it
I'd like to know
honorably.
who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list
I'll
of the
fire
people who
them.
testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a
Some
good
because
job.
Some people don't
Well,
do a good
here's
job. With you,
Go
they
ahead.
say,
You get
here's the
wait a
deal.
minute. You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown.
hey, let me just say, Joe,
No, no,
Bite it
no.
with the burn.
oh,
That's a nice burn.
That
I
is
give him
simply-
that.
why did he deserve $3.5 million
Did-
from Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We want to talk about
I wouldn't call him
families
clown.
and ethics. I
I
don't want to
wouldn't.
do that. I mean, his
I
family we can
wouldn't.
talk about all night. His family's
My
already
family,
No, no, let him go.
my
Let-
family
already
lost
wrote
a fortune by
Go ahead.
coming down and helping
Go
us
ahead.
with
Go ahead,
government.
sir.
and that's
Every-
such a
and they're right
That's
here.
it, Mr.
That's
President.
such a
Every
great-
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune
about
by
President.
my
coming and
family or
helping
his
us with
family. It's
government.
about your family,
They
the
didn't put
American
$3.5
people.
million
He
dollars
doesn't,
up.
that's not true. It doesn't want to talk about what you need. You, the American people. It's about you. That's
I'm
what
done.
talk about.
All right,
Not
that's
here.
the end of the
He's
segment.
rhetorical
We're
retarded.
moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice
it's a very-
President,
but Chris,
no,
can I
ex-
be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
why he doing that?
The answer to
And
the
he
question is
threatened
no.
Ukraine
No, sir.
with $1 billion.
No, Trump, no.
Not
Well,
You're
true.
on tape
You're-
doing it.
You're gonna
You're not gonna argue with
Gentlemen,
the moderator.
You know what they're gonna do in the second debate? They're gonna cut their
it
mic.
has to be- Why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the
Got a
deal.
good point.
We have 6 segments. We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want. I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But I
What the
think
hell?
that the country would be better served.
Then
If we
none
are-
of them answer questions, so we might as well just go like this.
I'm appealing to you.
I'm
sir,
telling
to
you, the second
him
debate
too.
when they do it,
Well,
then
frankly, you've
they're gonna
been
shut their
doing more
mics
interrupting
off.
Well, that's all right, but he does plenty.
Yeah, I'm done with this kid.
Jeez.
This is
Yeah, you know what?
Please
We'll
continue.
recap
The
it on
issue of race.
Sunday.
Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's
I'm
response
gonna leave
to
this
the
last
violence
question.
in Charlottesville 3
Yeah.
years ago, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
President Trump,
He still threw the
you have often
shot.
said
Why?
that you believe you have done more
Why he do
for
that?
Black Americans than any president, with the possible exception
Because he
Just
said
trying to
that
get
Joe
under his
Biden said
skin.
that's why he
Two
ran.
of you.
Huh?
That's
Why
it.
should
Yeah,
voters
that's right.
trust
Why-
you
why-
other than your to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4
I
years?
just want to hear his
Vice
answer.
President Biden, you go first.
It's about equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people look like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, just spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides. No president's ever said anything like
So
that.
what is he supposed to say?
Now,
Sir.
Second point I'd make to you is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was killed, there was a peaceful protest in front of the White House. What did he do? He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up a Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him
You didn't need to do that.
all he ever
Yeah,
did was
you
divide
got to keep
people,
the
not
separation of
unite
church and
people at
state.
all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist
Oh,
division.
don't go there,
This is a man
Biden.
who, in
Please
fact,
don't go
will talk
there.
about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans.
Wait a minute.
This man
Hold
is
up.
the-
That
is
that
the
site
savior
that
of
I
African
used,
Americans.
it said
This man
2,000.
cares at all?
How the hell did he
This
jump down
man's
to
done
1,000
virtually
already?
Nothing. Look, the fact is that you have to look at what he talks about. You have to look at what he did. And what he
Don't
did
suck
has been disastrous for the African American community.
So
Wait, I
President,
want to hear Trump answer.
why should Americans trust you over your...
Just listen, Trump.
did a crime bill, 1994.
There it is. Here we go.
Super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it,
I've
Joe.
never said
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator. And I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the Black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time, because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that, because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the
Ooh,
church
he
is
brought up
concerned,
85.
and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals.
Trump, I'm waiting for your plan,
Law
though.
enforcement, almost
They're talking
every
about 1994, man.
in the United
I need
States.
to-
I have Florida, I have Texas.
How about today, 2020?
Ohio. I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called
Yo,
us
he's
in
going
Portland,
in right now.
we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day and they put up their hands and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right.
Mm.
I want to return to the
I think that was his
question
best
of race.
answer all night.
Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police,
I heard something about a grand jury wanted
whether
You
justice
talking about Breonna Taylor?
really applied in
Yeah, to
America.
remove the gag because the attorney general didn't bring some information.
Unequal system of
Yeah.
justice for blacks in this country.
Yes,
And
there's
that's wrong if that's
Wait, wait.
systemic injustice in this country, in education and work, and in
That was on
in
y'all
law
though.
enforcement, and the way in which
No,
it's
that was
in-
before them. It
Look,
started.
the vast
It's the
majority of
statement. They just started 95,
men and
90.
women
No, I'm not talking
They
about
risk their
95.
lives
I'm
every
talking
day to
about
take care
way
of us.
back in the 60s.
But there are some bad apples.
Mhm.
When they
It started with
occur, when they
LBJ.
find them, they have to be sorted
all his,
out.
all his,
They have
all
to be
our,
held
our
accountable.
degradation.
They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out.
Obama did
so
that
we
too,
change
and
the
it
way
didn't
in which
work.
we have more transparency in when these things happen. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to George Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor. Most don't like it, but we have to have a system where people are held accountable. When, and by the way, violence in response is never appropriate. Never appropriate. Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
All right. Ms.
What is peaceful
President-
protest? When they run through the middle of the
President-
town
President Trump-
and burn down your
President Trump,
stores
I-
and kill people
President
all over
Trump,
the place,
that
and you
is
say
not
peaceful
peaceful
protest?
President
No,
Trump,
it's
I'm not
not, but
asking-
you say it is.
President
White people killed it.
So, Grace, I
Not
the
promise
black
we're gonna
people.
get to the issue of law and order
Please.
in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race
Oh my
theory.
God.
Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools, all over the place. And you know it, and so does everybody
what
else.
is radical,
and he would know.
What is
Oh, it was
radical
totally
about
racist.
racial sensitivity training, sir?
If you were a certain person,
A certain person like what? Go ahead and say the color.
and if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and frankly very sick ideas. And really,
True.
they
I don't know
want
what type of
people to hate
sensitivity
our country.
training
And I'm not going to do that.
White
I'm not
House
gonna allow
has, but it's not crazy.
back to the core values.
We
of
have some in our company.
No, but
teaching
I think
people
what he's
that
saying
our
is if
country
you
is
do
a
that,
horrible place, it's a racist
depending on who's
place,
teaching
and
it,
they
you
were
can
teaching
demonize
people to hate our
somebody.
country. And I'm
No,
not going to allow
No,
that to
that's what I
happen.
think he's trying to say. But
Nobody's
he don't.
doing that.
He's got to be
just-
careful how he
he's
words it.
racist.
You just don't know.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about
You
this.
don't
than he
know.
does.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware
that's
of
true.
what other people
Sometimes
feel,
you don't even know you're doing it.
what insults them, what is demeaning to them. It's important to people know they don't want to. Many people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but it makes a big difference. It makes a gigantic difference in the way a child is able to grow up and have a sense of self-esteem. It's a little bit
I
like
think a
how
quick example, the
and-
whole thing with
look
with-
down
But that's on the
so many-
parents.
They look down their nose on people like Irish Catholics like me and grew up in Scranton. They look down on people who don't have money. They look down on people who are of a different faith. They look down on people
That's
who are
true.
of different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is
Ever.
bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do if we do it together. We can take this on and we can defeat
I
racism.
think the thing, for example, with the hair thing, you know how
Obama
women
administration.
of color always complain about
That
you know
was-
Asian women asking to touch your hair or touching your hair and things like that.
you go to very
I
many
really don't think some of them have
in Baltimore. What happened
bad
to-
idea when she's
violent
asked
than what
if
I'm
she
even
can touch
seeing
your
now.
hair.
Oh, my
I really
The
never
reason
thought that.
is that the Democrats
that
that
she
run these cities
Hold on.
don't want to
hate
talk
my
like you
interest
about
or
law and
anything
order.
like that.
You still haven't mentioned.
Violent
Are you in
crime.
favor of
We
law and
need a
order?
sensitivity training.
He's really trying to get Joe to
like-
say you in favor of law and order.
Yes, I'm a-
You
everybody's
asked
in
a question,
favor
let him
of
finish.
law and order.
Just
Just-
Law and order,
Let him answer.
law and order with justice, where people get treated
With
fairly.
justice.
And the fact of the matter
It's
is,
together.
violent crime went down
It goes
7%.
law and justice go hand in hand. How can you
Yeah.
have law
It's gone
and
up to
justice
his
in
watch.
there?
Much
What's
more
the law?
You gotta remember, justice is
We're not-
subjective.
Mr. President, you're going to.
States of America.
The
Mr.
law is
President,
written by who?
Mr.
The
President,
court.
I'm very happy. We're not going to
No,
talk about.
it could be.
We had
It
trouble
could
with
be.
Democratic-run cities.
That's
and
exactly
It
my
could, it
question.
could
There
be
has been a
depending on
dramatic
who's
increase in
watching it,
homicides
who's
in America
administering it.
this
But
summer.
we
particularly, and
always
you often blame that on
the
Democratic-
judicial is always there to enforce the law. So they have parts in this.
All right, hold on.
equivalent spikes.
I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm done, kid. This
I'm
is
over
it.
this debate.
I'm over.
You tapped out. Yo, no,
I'm
but I
wondering
think
what I
with
was
justice
trying to do.
again, like I said, subjective. It's justice is
They're there
subjective
to
because
interpret
it
the
depends
law.
on who's administering.
That's what I learned
Huh?
very young.
Yeah, but the judge,
Just
you
to
know, the judges
interpret
don't
the law.
interpret the law correctly. You know that.
That's what they're saying. That's why you can
That was
appeal.
fun.
That's why you can appeal. But that was funny.
Yes, but yes. And guess what? You know who's appealing? Amber Geiger. She about to come home next year.
Who's who?
Amber Geiger,
Who's there?
the one that killed Botham John.
Oh shoot!
Oh yeah, no, you didn't know that?
This is for real. She coming home?
They said her team is filing the appeals right now. She can come home. Y'all not ready for that. Y'all not ready for them conversations. Come on, dog. I told you, I was like, she not doing 10 years. I said she probably do 2, and then she'll go up for parole and they'll send her home.
That was funny. Anyway, well, that yeah.
You ain't got nothing to say on that. God, dog.
I don't know.
Next debate, I'm telling you, next debate, they're gonna shut their mics off. They're not gonna let them talk.
Yeah, he was just acting like a little kid there.
But here's my thing: what are you gonna talk about in the second and third debates? What are you gonna talk about?
They would just look at each other and just smile.
I don't know. That was funny as hell. I can't believe it.
I mean, from that first question, it was on.
That motherfucker.
It was on.
Oh no, that was. I was like, oh no, calm down, brother, calm down.
All right, y'all. That'll be it for tonight. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this one that we did.
Yeah, they were fun. I'm sorry for the laughing. It was hilarious.
Yeah, there's a few things I was just like, I can't do it. I just why he doing this?
Yeah. So real quick, perfunctory. Friday, bet on black. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why you're not. But
You better.
Mike Wilson, yes, Mike Wilson's interview will drop 12 o'clock.
Mike Wilson.
Yes.
And you need to follow him too.
Yes, follow him at
MR
TMRWBK on Instagram.
Black Jesus.
Yeah. My Al Sharpton roast and his cronies roast, that's live. And before we go, King Face died today. So shout out to his family. You know, they're grieving right now. So, you know, we're just gonna throw it out there.
We empathize with y'all.
Yeah. Even though people going in on him right now, he said he was giving out the HIV to black women, but I don't know nothing about that. I ain't touching that. Because I will say this: if y'all gonna go after that man for that, y'all need to go after Jason Roger Pope. But y'all not gonna do that.
And that's all for tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Please drink some water.
Yes,
Watching this debate. You need it.
No, if you do water, you're gonna run around. It's gonna go down the wrong pipe.
Yeah.
You might be, and then you're gonna go to the hospital and be labeled a COVID day. You heard what I said?
Good night.
Night.